we have another full moon, this time in the sign of Scorpio. So I find this full moon really interesting because it goes against the natural order of moon cycles. So right now it's a bit out of order, right? We had a new moon in Aries and now we have a full moon in Scorpio, when it's usually the new moon is the sign opposite the full moon. So we should have had the Taurus new moon first and then the Scorpio full moon, which is the two opposite signs from each other, right? And the zodiacal wheel, they're across from each other, right? And full moons really represent the synthesis of these two opposites coming together, right? But we have the Taurus new moon in 2 weeks, right? So I find this really interesting because Aries is also a Mars ruled sign. So we have this very strong martial quality to this moon cycle, which I don't know if you've been hammered like me, but I think that when the sun moved into Taurus, it definitely eased up. And yeah, just like be good to your body, you know, have some of those creature comforts is my advice to you right now. If you've had a pretty intense Aries season, we still have planets in Aries. Mars is still in Aries. Uranus just moved into the sign of Gemini after, you know, a 7-8 year stay in Taurus. Yeah. And so we could be feeling that right now. And so it'd be interesting to make a note somewhere. If you do journal and you track these things, then this would be the time to really see what's showing up right now. And it could very well be around mind stuff, because Mercury really does rule. It rules the mind and communication. But it did dip into Gemini back in July. I believe it was July 7th, 2025. So there could be an echo there of things showing up, and there could be new awarenesses that are coming through. They are for me. So Uranus is moving into my 10th house, and I really do feel the ending of this job and really, you know, the disruption of it all, of where my mind is going, where my thinking is going. But if you do want to learn more about that, I am doing free readings, basically donation based. So I would give you the reading, and if you feel like donating anything, that'd be great. But really right now, I am a certified astrologer, but I'm also still a student. So I'm just welcoming in the practice. So if anybody wants to get more insight onto how this Scorpio full moon is affecting you in your life, then we can look at your chart. So you can reach out to me, really direct message on Instagram, or even comment here on YouTube, and we can connect. So yeah. What else? So this reading tonight, I actually pulled the cards. So something went wrong with my recording, and it's kind of interesting. Maybe I'll experiment with this more and more, with sort of more of a second reflection on the cards that I pulled. But it is actually pretty interesting here. I did ask really basically what this full moon is offering us as far as insights. And so I kept it really loose and vague in some senses, but I wanted to bring forward some themes, specifically the animistic archetypes of Scorpio, so to speak. We do have the snake. Well, of course we have the scorpion, right? And the scorpion is that poison or that stinger, right? So this is a time perhaps when some hard truths are coming to surface. We have Pluto squaring this full moon in the sign of Aquarius, so that is at play. Squares do have the energy of Mars, just like sextiles have the energy of Venus, as they're, you know, more cooperative and relational. Squares are more confrontational and cutting, just like Mars can be. So we do have that energy that could be excavating something really deep that needs to be released. So of course we have the Phoenix, and the Phoenix is all about the death and rebirth cycle, right? So this is definitely at hand. This is probably really speaking to Pluto, right, as the planet of death and transformation. So this energy is here at our disposal. You know, we can work with it. We can use it to become more of who we want to be in the world. And I don't know, it's interesting because I think that can even be burdensome sometimes when we hold ourselves to such high, not even standards, but high dreams and aspirations, when oftentimes we miss out on some really good times in our disposal, right? That are right in front of us, right? The happiness that we can enjoy and indulge in as we're talking about Taurus season, right? Anyway, why don't we just let the cards speak? But yeah, I just wanted to speak to the animistic side of Scorpio. What did I leave out? Oh, the eagle. The eagle as far as higher vision and new perspective. So that could be coming into. I did pull a card from my animal shaman deck because I did feel like animal spirits, right? As well as the Rider-Waite tarot, and also the goddess deck by the same artist. This is Susan Seddon Boulay. So she's an artist, and her art has been made into oracle cards. So why don't we just get started with all that precursor to the reading here and where some of the planets are right now. Okay. So the first card that I pulled is the Queen of Swords. And of course, this is denoting the mental realms because we're looking at air here as the sword. And this is really the sword of truth, right? This is the sword of truth that comes up and pops up in the tarot in particular cards. But I think that this does speak to some truth right now because this is a Scorpio full moon, and this is a double-edged sword. This cuts both ways. I think here that there is a sense of two sides of a story. What makes the Queen of Swords different from the King of Swords? Well, there's a feminine quality that comes in here, so there's an element of water with this air, so it brings in the sense of feeling and intuition to how she makes decisions, right? How she's using her mind. She doesn't use her mind without her heart, and this is the energy that we're in right now, which makes sense because Scorpio is a water sign. So if we're not feeling anything right now, things around us might force us to get into the feels, but right now we could be feeling into the feels, but also being still tapped into the logical mind to some degree. So that's a really powerful place. Really powerful in the sense that this is the energy that is crossing us, right? This is the energy that's coming in to this heart and mind activated space of the Scorpio full moon. The Magician here. This is again the mind. This is the Mercury card. You have the Magician standing in this is a power position, right? The Magician knows that he is the four elements embodied. He knows how to manipulate the materials before him, and he's creating this like pillar of energy, this vertical power, right? And with his outstretched arms, this is really a power position with him with one of the wands. This is the Ace of Wands, right? This is the initiating energy of Aries season, the beginning of the zodiacal year. This is the one card, right? This is the card after the Fool, right? We're in a 1 year. Some people think a 10 year, right? Also, so in numerology, this is initiating energy, right? This is the beginning of something. So we're initiating something. And, again, we are in this moon cycle that started in Aries, right? So this fire is still really very present. And I think that this also speaks to, these two energies speak to Uranus moving into the sign of Mercury, right? Gemini, right? Moving into the sign of Gemini. These are very strong Gemini energy here, right? Seeing the two sides, right? So interesting, right? So we know that something is over, right? So there's an energy of endings, which makes a lot of sense. There's a huge cycle that ended with all these planets moving out of the sign of Pisces and in the sign of Aries. So this is relational. You know, this is Libra and Saturn. This is Venusian, right? This is Venus, the ruling sign of Venus. The other one, the masculine one, besides Taurus. So I think there's a lot of grief and sorrow here in this space right now. This is kind of top of mind. This is like a tender heart here, right? And we might not be giving ourselves, we might not be totally conscious, completely aware of this ending. We might be a little bit in denial of this ending because this is more on the space of what we're not seeing subconsciously. So there could be a sense of denial of something being over. So, I mean, this could be, you know, the disillusionment. I feel like I've said disillusionment in every reading since the beginning of this year. But there could be a sense of that, or maybe not, you know. But I think that rest could be something that could really be purposeful right now, especially about conserving energy, right? Or like laying your sword down, like you are finished with this fight, also knowing that there are other battles to be fought, right? So yeah, this is sort of more of our subconscious, or really the root of the problem, in the sense that yeah, I mean, like, again, it could be denial, but also yeah, I don't know, yeah. Yeah, anyway, I just think that this just speaks for itself, right? This is very clear on where we are, right? We're putting something to rest. Yeah, we might not like it, but we might, who knows, right? Or you might come to more acceptance is coming, right? Because we do have this fire behind us, you know. We can't really, I mean, I think that may be what I'm trying to say with this. There's a resistance to resting because there's so much fire behind us, right? And we could use the fire for our creativity, but it also could burn us out. So I think that's also a very prevalent message right now with astrologers right now, just because there is so much fire. And with this air coming in from Uranus, there's just like, you know, there's a lot of stoking of the fire right now, especially because what's ahead of us is the Queen of Wands, which, how are they, it's just interesting because, like, you know, we have this match here, you know, we have this masculine, feminine energy, and how is the feminine different? The feminine wands different from the King of Wands, and it's really, it's the water again, right? You have the feminine intuition here, and I think that what is coming in with this reading is tapping into the unseen, tapping into the waters of the feminine. I meant to mention the snake. The snake is also a symbol of Scorpio. And because, yes, you have the shedding of the skin, right? The renewal that it symbolizes, which is this card, this could be this energy in this card. But also how snakes can sense things vibrationally, right? So we may not be able to see it, but we feel it, right? So I think there is this sense of enthusiasm and confidence and creativity, right? You have these, you know, sunflowers in the background. So, you know, we may have moved away from the Aries sun, right? But we are going to be moving into Leo season, right? So we have the fixed energy here, right? So this is going to come up again as we move through the zodiacal year, right? Through the wheel. And we'll get back into the fixed sign of, we will arrive to the fixed sign in a couple of months, right? So yeah, May, June, July, 3 months. So That's all really, really great energy here. We do have, oh, did I miss that card? Yeah. Oh, here we go. We do have this card here. And this is literally in the position of our fears. So it's interesting because this is literally the representation of fear. This is the Jupiter and Gemini card. Was there another Jupiter card? I actually think this is also another Jupiter card. So it's coming through. Jupiter's in the sign of Cancer right now. And Mars is going to be making a square to Jupiter in a few days. So that's meaningful. Mars, if you think of Mars as the push and of the pushing, right? Energy, the forceful energy, and Jupiter being basically wisdom. And yeah, like wisdom. You think of Jupiter as the guru, right? As the teacher, as the understanding, the cohesion, and something that seemed really scattered could be coming together. And there's a force behind that right now. So I think that, I don't know, I think that our beliefs are going to be tested out in some way, and maybe that is fearful. I think that when we talk about shadow, when we talk about Scorpio, you know, I think that we could be, you know, shadow is something we don't see necessarily, but if we do the work, we can find out what kind of conventions are keeping us from truth, right? Of course, we need to have a social mask. You know, we're sort of shape-shifting when we go to work, right? We have a corporate job, and then we go home, and we do tarot card readings on YouTube, right? Like, how weird is that? So what I'm saying is, there could be a need to take that last push into being more in an authentic space. Now, again, we are in a moon cycle that started with an AriesNew Moon, right? So there's a feeling of really wanting to be ourselves and being ourselves and showing up authentically. So I've been taking this Jungian class, and the first module was, of course, the shadow work, the black stage Negredo, where the first exercise, the first project was actually making a confession, right? And what made it more powerful is if you shared your confession to the class, right? But the idea here was really how much we are in contradiction to what we're thinking and feeling, right? And how we're showing up in the world, and how we are expressing ourselves around our nearest and dearest, right? And it can cause a lot of grief and suffering, right? So this is the Jupiter and Gemini card, right? Because Jupiter wants understanding. Jupiter wants cohesion. But Gemini just is like, well, it could be this, it could be that. It sees all the sides of everything. And I think that it's too much. It's too much. So I think it's about finding out where you're not pleasing anyone, right? And really finding where what you can stand behind as far as what you value and what you believe in, and no matter what, right? No matter what. And with that, some people aren't gonna really like it, right? Or that there could be grief here. There's grief here, right? On the endings, and that can be relational, right? On the endings, right? Yeah. A sadness over some mask that you're dropping and leaving behind, right? But it's okay, because all is not lost, right? And you have this King of Swords energy, which is really interesting because, again, we have two pairs of kings and queens, right? Fire and air, which are very masculine, but we have these feminine qualities coming in, again, speaking to the intuition, speaking to the unseen spaces, right? Of the snake, of this kind of intuitive awareness that comes into play with their decision making and their actions, right? Their decision makings and their actions. And there's a relationship there. But so the King of Swords is a little bit more aggressive, right? You have the Queen of Swords that has her heart there and is really more in a state of listening and quiet and reflection. And the King of Swords doesn't really have that, right? Right? Yeah. So somehow we have to be able to get through this aspect, right? The overly logical mind, I think, that we can't like reason our way out of certain situations, right? But all in all, the final card here is the building of something new, right? So as things have ended, there is going to be a new cycle here, right? So this is really speaking to Saturn. So Saturn is far away enough from Neptune right now that the new story, that the new mythos that Saturn is really creating right now, and that we're sensing and we're able to see and feel into and sense, apart from Neptune, is happening. So what I'm saying is there's a new Saturn cycle because Saturn had its cazimi with Saturn a few weeks ago. And so there's a new energy, a new responsibility coming through. And it could be very well associated with the Jupiter energy coming in, right? And the Gemini energy coming in. Because there's a new mind. There's new considerations, right? Which the considerations may have felt paralyzing, right? But really there's a way out. You know, it's kind of like not as tenuous as you think. It's just that it's an overwhelming, energy here. But all in all, once we're able to get through that logical mind stuff, which is necessary, but let's not forget about the intuitive side that we have at hand from the Scorpio energy. Anyway, I hope this really helps. So basically, the culminating card again is this Saturnian card. It's cardinal Earth, so it's Capricorn, and it's really about building. It's about structuring. It's about building and setting all those things up. So I really love how this reading opened up with the Magician, because there's this sense again of the mind eventually materializing into form. And so I think that we should be aware that we're powerful beings, and that we have so much to create, and we have this power to create, and we should do that. We should definitely go through our grieving process, but don't let it paralyze you. Take the proper rest that you need, but don't let it paralyze you, because we have some beautiful fire energy at hand, fire energy for our will and action, and a powerful mind too behind us. So yep, there it is, people. So I did pull 2 cards, like I was saying, from the Goddess deck as well as the Animal Spirit deck, and I thought this was so great because what popped up was Persephone, which is very much this energy around Scorpio season, where everything is dead and we have this cycle again of death and rebirth. And so this is very much about the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? We are aware that life goes in cycles, right? And if we were always constantly growing, it just, the Jupiter energy, right? It would be too much. We need to have those ebbs and flows and just trust the process, right? I think that's what's coming in. And what was also really beautiful was the tiger. And I think that with this opening card, I was really feeling into the goddess energy, like the dark goddess energy, and like Durga, the Hindu goddesses in Pantheon, and just like Durga with all her arms, and the destroyer. She's really the destroyer, right? I mean, Kali is cutting away the ego, but Durga is really just she cuts through all the obstacles. So the tiger is really powerful that this came through, and I think it also is a little bit suggesting what's ahead as far as Leo season, right, with this big cat energy. And so just keep going, have the courage to release what you need to, leave behind the things that aren't aligned to your greater visions for yourself and, for the groups that you're in. Just hoping that, all that's happening for you is for your good and also for the greater good of all. And hope you're moving through the energies with so much love and grace. And I'll see you next time for the new moon in Taurus.